Prince Harry has constantly been on the radar, but his latest movements have literally divided the arena into two camps. A few see him as a traitor, at the same time as others see him as a fighter for his freedom. However, who is he certainly? These days we'll smash down his most scandalous choices and try to apprehend why they caused this kind of wave of concern. Equipped to find out what's at the back of the prince's media photograph? Stay tuned, you may be surprised. A third professional has now stated that Harry's bottom line is that he's too simple someone. He sincerely does not apprehend the various instances of his very own existence. The prince is convinced he is proper and Meghan has been handled horribly. Those are Tom Bower's words from his interview with The Sun, in which he speculates on whether Harry regrets writing Spare. The communiqué happened after Harry and Meghan visited the whole of a bookstore close to their home. Tom says the prince is really happy with his ebook, which has brought on controversy. He is extremely joyful with his achievement, and I am positive he has really no regrets. Approximately all of the things he's stated, approximately all of the terrible allegations, and, I suppose, a number of the lies. Tom Bower believes Harry is simply too detached from everyday existence and nonetheless thinks he is terribly unique, as the Duke keeps to deny that whatever informed in the ebook is not true. He is a very selfish man, a man for whom the reality is usually a foreign landscape, and in my opinion he has no danger of coming returned. And Meghan will never go back in any respect. She enjoys dwelling in California too much, and she or he had no purpose of lingering in Britain within the first vicinity. To such conclusions Tom Bower became induced by using everything that took place at the whole of a book place in California with the participation of Harry and Meghan. The Dukes weren't shy about displaying their literary masterpieces Spare and The Bench prominently inside our nearby authors show off. While a person at the opening requested Harry to propose a e-book, the prince silently pointed to his memoirs. The prince is still detached from actual lifestyles. While he lived outside the palace walls, that changed into understandable. But the walls of a palace in Britain are quite exceptional from the walls of a house in Montecito. Nevertheless, deafness to what is happening around him has already emerged as standard for Harry. Reputable royal biographer Ingrid Seward advised The Sun that individuals hate Prince Harry for insulting his circle of relatives. Maximum people believe that family is a very essential part of existence. In particular, Americans that I understand hate the very concept that he insulted his family, would not communicate to his brother, and has by no means met Meghan's father. I imply, it's certainly bizarre. Is she ashamed of her father? Why hasn't Harry met him? It's that estrangement from circle of relatives that human beings locate very alienating, instead of what William and Kate confirmed in their present-day video. I think what humans virtually don't like is that he insulted his family. The Spare ebook may additionally have made him hundreds of thousands, however, damn it, he paid for it. And the prince himself keeps to smile and lead the life of alternative royalty in America. He's reissuing his little e-book, now in paperback. It'll be released within the United Kingdom on October 24th and in the US on October 22nd. Simply on that day might be the first assembly of His Majesty's heads of government in Samoa, but this minor event is of little importance on the subject of the reissue of a literary masterpiece. Some royal professionals assume in a different way and say it is not possible to think of a worse time to bring matters to the surface another time. Maybe Harry himself is just too simple and doesn't understand it. However, the king's granting him such limitless freedom continues to infuriate the sector. Of course, these days the monarchy isn't the same as it became within the past centuries, but even the present monarchy every now and then desires some firmness. In the end, it keeps to take part in wars, because it did centuries ago. Harry's transgression became referred to as treachery 1,000 years ago, and remains known as treachery in our time. The severity of this betrayal is compounded typically over by means of Harry's closeness to the King and the Prince of Wales, for it hurts maximum whilst those closest to you are betrayed. In our Russian records there was a similar event, However, then the Tsar turned into betrayed, now not through his blood spouse and children, but most effective by using his closest entourage for the aristocracy. I'm speaking approximately the Decembrist rebellion in 1825. I comprehend without delay the massive distinction between those occasions, because Harry did not intend to get rid of the monarchy itself as a machine of government and did no longer intend to bodily get rid of the king, as the Decembrists from the Southern Society planned. I am speaking about that means now. Harry's treachery seems to me much like the betrayal of the Russian Tsar via the top circle of the nobility. In the end, they too have been colleagues, they studied collectively, danced at the equal balls, danced in the same society. Do you suspect Harry did the right aspect by means of breaking off members of the family with the royal family? The Russian Tsar paid for his betrayal harshly. The tale of the Decembrist Joseph Poggio is less widely known, however no much less thrilling. Joseph changed into the son of Vittorio Amadeo Poggio, who on the time of Catherine II entered the Russian carrier and took part within the Russian-Turkish conflict. During the storming of Izmir he confirmed himself an actual hero. In Odessa he married, sons Joseph and Alexander had been born, both chose an army profession, distinguished themselves inside the warfare of 1812, and in 1824 joined the Southern Society of Decembrists. After the rebellion on Senate Rectangular, each brothers have been arrested, the mitigating situation being that neither of them for my part took element in the uprising. Therefore, the Tsar did no longer execute them, however imprisoned them in a castle and disadvantaged them of all verbal exchange with their loved ones. The spouse and children did now not even know for certain whether or not they have been alive or now not. Joseph Poggio spent 8 years in solitary confinement inside the Schlüsselburg fortress. He changed into no longer allowed to study or write, and through a small window beneath the ceiling he could see best occasional rays of sunlight. After 8 years it became determined to ship the prisoner to Siberia, but he should handiest be sent there on condition that his spouse did no longer observe him. Within the fort his fate was predetermined: blindness, illness, loss of life. Siberia gave some wish. Consequently the divorce changed into an try of the wife to store her husband's existence at least in this manner. She agreed to all conditions and were given a divorce, however Joseph Poggio became no longer even notified approximately it. In Siberia he waited for his wife, sitting for lengthy hours at a roadstone. Most effective in January 1848 wish left him, he had become significantly unwell and died. A year later his ex-wife, who had already been remarried, died of hypothermia after taking a bath that was too bloodless. Locked up in Harry's room, disadvantaged of the possibility to write down his memoirs, could were a great present to the world. Ultimate Hymen would be the fairest and simplest of all possible approaches. However, a closed Harry, disadvantaged of the possibility to write down, could have acquired the halo of a martyr, a fighter in opposition to the monarchy, who became gagged via his sat-rapist father. This is therefore the path the king does no longer take. Committed sick father feels sick, but reveals the power to chuckle within the agency of ladies from the New Zealand women's rugby team Black Ferns. The honest ladies begin to embody the king regardless of protocol. The king can stay kind by doing things by using other people's palms. Quickly Harry will visit the mountains with buddies for his birthday, and he may additionally awaken in a small non-public medical institution someplace in Europe. And once more, he was not allowed to read or write, and through a small window within the ceiling he saw best the occasional ray of sunlight. Just earlier than his 40th birthday, Harry formulated his challenge declaration. It appears there may be a ray of light within the dark state of British royalty whose challenge is to make this international a better place. Isn't that outstanding? I was so moved, I even wept. A progressive grew up within the palace partitions? A remarkable humanist? A renowned human rights activist? Did the royal circle of relatives enhance Mahatma Gandhi? Jawaharlal Nehru? Nelson Mandela? Each of them made the arena a higher vicinity in their own manner, and the biographies of those remarkable men are well known to us. Way to the immortal introduction of J.R. Moringer, some records of the biography of the world leader, which the former prince imagines himself to be, have additionally emerged as recognized to us. I randomly chose for you 9 statistics that he and the ghostwriter told in spare, so you will again make up an idea of the valiant hero, whose undertaking is to enhance the world. Before his first date with the actress, while and wherein it occurred is not distinctive this time, Harry took part in a 5-hour sailing race. There had been no centers on board, however the prince only observed this whilst nature called. It's common to have a petit needle at sea, but Harry became afraid he might be photographed at that moment. Subsequently I got back to my publish, hung embarrassingly from the ropes and wet myself, he wrote. Wow, I concept, if best Ms. Markle may want to see me now. He speedy rinsed his trousers in water, technique unspecified, and rushed to London to fulfill Meghan. Could not drink himself senseless at a stag party. Blame it on his older brother, who changed into extraordinarily jealous of Harry's beauty, who turned into a loud by using the Queen to maintain a thick crimson beard for the wedding, while William changed into order to shave in keeping with protocol. Harry learned that William deliberate to retaliate and shave off his beard himself, depriving him of all his beauty on his wedding ceremony day. At the stag birthday celebration, Harry desired to de-stress but had to avoid getting too drunk to hold a wary eye on his brother. The Queen arrived within the shape of a hummingbird. Harry, who changed into returning to Montecito from the Queen's funeral, had a tiny hen, a hummingbird, fly into his residence. A friend warned him that it could be a signal, because Spanish researchers named the hummingbird the chicken of resurrection. Then the notion struck Harry that it turned into his grandmother, the Queen, whom he missed very lots and wanted to hug, for he had arrived at Balmoral too overdue. Idea with a bit of luck, greedily and foolishly, is our home a diversion or a destination? He even desired to hold the bird, however on 2D idea, he let it out into the wild. The Queen is thrilled with Archie and Lilibeth. In the course of the Sussex kids' date with the Queen, Archie bowed and Lilibeth hugged her legs. This pleased Her Majesty so much that she called them the sweetest kids. She expected them to be a bit greater American, I think. That is, in her opinion, greater rambunctious. If you need to recognize greater approximately the real motives at the back of Prince Harry's moves and speak his lifestyles with different visitors, enroll on our channel and give us a like. We retain to get to the bottom of the maximum high-profile international activities. Holding Meghan's hair over the restroom. Before his and Meghan's wedding, they invited Princess Eugenie and her modern-day husband Jack Brooksbank to visit. Meghan cooked salmon. They chatted a touch approximately traveling, about filming in the television series Force Majeure and commenced ingesting tequila. After which shot Meghan felt terrible. It isn't designated, however she went to bed earlier than absolutely everyone else. Wherein Eugenie, Jack and Harry fell asleep it is not precise, but waking up the prince heard his wife vomiting within the lavatory and in his memory right away seemed squid, which she ate for lunch on the restaurant. All and sundry is aware if a lady who has had too much tequila vomits within the lavatory, it's from squid, what else may want to or not it's from. Harry did like a gentleman. He called the paramedics, took her hair in his palms, where he determined it at that moment is also no longer exact, and held it again at the same time as the lady of his desires vomited into the toilet. Whether his memoir isn't strive to tell his truth or just a preference to capitalize at the scandal is up for debate. I rubbed her again and finally positioned her to bed. Weak, nearly crying, she stated she had imagined a totally special ending to the 4th date. Intimate details about Dad's existence. When taking a tub, Charles listens to kids' testimonies. To try this, he makes use of a CD player. Daddy used to hold his wireless, that is what he called his transportable CD player, on which he favored to listen to his storybooks whilst soaking within the bath. The Queen plugged her ears so she couldn't listen to the tune at her anniversary birthday celebration. Paul McCartney's fantastic music, Her Majesty, as well as God's Store, the Queen sung with the aid of Queen guitarist Brian May, also have been not heard by using the Queen all through her Diamond Jubilee. The monarch, who changed into dancing tirelessly, had yellow earplugs in his ears. Whilst a headache-ridden Harry noticed them, he notion, greater than ever, I desired to hug my grandmother. After his first date with Meghan, the prince got stoned. After his date with the actress, Harry determined to fulfill up with a friend to brag approximately his progress. It failed to take lengthy for tequila and weed to emerge, followed by means of the cartoon movie puzzle. Harry felt numb and said, "Top weed, mate." Then the phone rang and he panicked. It turned into a video call from Meghan. He stated he favored her freckles and he spoke back that they would be eliminated every time she become photographed. Intimate details from the Pope's life again. The King's favorite aftershave is Dior's 1960 Eau Savage fragrance, which he slathers on. Harry defined the odor as floral with a touch of something pungent and prefer pepper or gunpowder. It says on the bottle that it's miles made in Paris, which made Harry think of a mummy. This statistics is greater than enough to get in concept not most effective of the book, but additionally of the level of contemplating the main person himself, about whom a subscriber wrote very appropriately the day gone by. Fool. Simplicity is worse than stealing. Why do human beings anticipate normal behavior from LUO, if he isn't always even able to recognize, examine and examine it? LUO, mild intellectual retardation, quick literacy. We are speak me most effective about a slight diploma of retardation, debility. It is characterized through decreased intelligence, problems of speech and motor development, emotional and volitional sphere. Outwardly, someone may not vary from the rest. However, he cannot concentrate, he has brain harm. This leads to problems in gaining knowledge of functions of persona. With the maximum fantastic correction in formative years, adults with LUO slowly do not forget the records received, quick overlook it. They're now not capable of generalize, they do no longer possess abstract principles. They do not recognize the logical connection among occasions and phenomena. They may be unable to draw conclusions about what's occurring. A trusting oligophrenic is easy to turn into a government zombie, indoctrinate something. Deceive. The socialized can live separately, work, begin households, however it really is no longer the level of a beauty blogger. Eleanor Roosevelt stated, "Remarkable minds speak ideas. Common minds discuss activities. Small minds speak human beings." Discussing humans is not likely to make the arena a better area, but you may try. I recollect someone's phrase, in case you want to make this sector a better place, begin with yourself. However, it relies upon on who to make it better for. If it is for yourself, you could end up with yourself. Harry advised the fact about his circle of relatives and failed to be aware it. British newspapers with the assist of insiders near Harry have created quite an intrigue, preserving human beings guessing what the prince is honestly questioning and feeling. Insiders close to the couple make arguments proving that the prince is residing out, literally, his last months at his domestic in Montecito, together with his spouse Meghan and children. He will return to Britain at the earliest possibility. Harry's friends have a special version. The prince is happy with his new lifestyles in the United States and will in no way return to Britain. The truth turned into informed, or instead silent, by means of Harry himself and a message on the event of his 40th birthday. The position of the prince today is Meghan +1. Harry unearths himself in the identical role as his father 30 years in the past, when the subjects enthusiastically welcomed Princess Diana, and even ran to her side to shake her hand. There have been always fewer human beings on the future king's side. Within the couple of Meghan and Harry, the center of interest is constantly Meghan. In Nigeria, she has been dubbed Princess Arachukwu. Francia Marquez invited the couple to return to Colombia after she advanced empathy for Meghan while watching the movie. Wife ousts Prince from Unbound Games. She gave a speech at a bookshop establishing, Meghan, Meghan, Meghan. And Harry is like his grandfather Philip, 3 steps in the back of. But Philip followed the Queen. Even the prince's celebration may be attended by means of his wife's Hollywood associates, for the negative guy's contacts in the US are very few. The isolation is progressing, to the factor that the prince's exceptional friend is now his security shield David Langdown, referred to as Langers. Again, a supply reviews. The Shield is an Englishman who moved to Montecito together with his family. He and Harry are very close-knit. They're inseparable. The bookshop, at the whole of which Harry regarded with Meghan, turned into opened via of the Duchess's friends, literary agent Jennifer Rudolph Walsh and cosmetics company director Victoria Jackson. The occasion was a milestone for Harry. This occasion summed up Harry's life in a nutshell. He changed into there as a +1 in preference to insane a person useful for social media images. His circle of friends is curated with the aid of Meghan. His social life appears to be an increasing number of directed and constructed through her. Which of his antique pals are coming to his celebration within the mountains? Pop King Elton John, whom the Sussexes bear in mind a near buddy, will ship a bouquet rather, as he did for Meghan's birthday. Local flower store manager Felipe Sandoval said, Elton continually orders orchids in a white container and we set up for them to be delivered for Harry's birthday. He dispatched the identical for the Duchess of Sussex's birthday too. James Corden, who Harry additionally counts as a chum, is currently busy filming Gavin and Stacey in Wales. Of the vintage buddies Harry went to Eton with, only Nicky Scott has been noticed outside the Montecito house. The others within the war of words among the brothers have chosen to facet with the monarchy. It looks like the prince can be heading for the mountains with Nacho Figueres and Nicky Scott if he can maintain Meghan at home. Harry is depressed as lifestyles inside the US increasingly disgusts him. Meghan has an everlasting smile and Harry has a permanent scowl. From flirty 30s to single 40s. Right now, the prince's day is like Groundhog Day touring to high school, cycling across the neighborhood followed with the aid of bodyguards, on foot the dogs. Paintings days are spent under Meghan's manage and at a shared desk with her, every so often interrupted by meditation. Now Harry is an implied boy as one friend called him. All and sundry who knows him thinks he'd instead be up here on the pinnacle of the popularity ladder, for everyone to like him, like they do with William and Kate. How could you react if you were him? Write your opinion inside the remarks. Permits talk. Inside the presence of his wife, he's being rude. Santa Barbara resident Sarah Kerr recollects meeting her pal Meghan and Harry at Kevin Costner's celebration at his property, which he threw to gain charity 1805. Our pal who become there said Harry and Meghan had been nearly rude because they were not sociable. They weren't socializing with absolutely everyone. This is the Harry who, in his 30s, turned into at the crest of a wave and in Britain became greater popular than the Queen herself. After tours of Afghanistan and the Unconquered Games in London, 20 in step with Cent of Britain's indexed him as their favorite member of the royal family, while only 17 consistent with Cent indexed the late Queen as their favorite. At the time, his quality friend was nightclub owner Man Pelly. At the occasion of the prince's 30th birthday, his buddy organized a grand party for him in Clarence House, at some stage in which the visitors drank champagne and claret sent via his father and listened to the pop singer Ellie Goulding. The quid of the program turned into a disco with artificial snow, dedicated to the ski subject. Royal professional Phil Dampier recollects that point. When Harry turned 30, he became seen as a down-to-earth character, the type of person human beings would imagine having a pint in the pub with. It is extremely good to see how a great deal has modified in those 10 years. His popularity has plummeted. I'm no longer positive who's coming to Harry's 40th party due to the fact he appears to be very remote and dependent on Meghan. He even appears to have lost contact with Markle, who organized his 30th celebration, due to the fact even though they both stay in the US, they do not seem to appear every other very regularly. Harry is now the third most unpopular guy inside the UK, together with his spouse and disgraced Prince Andrew in advance of him. Is Harry happy with the entirety? Humans following the news from the British royal family have already started to take his stance, permitting Meghan some things she wants for moderate mental retardation. But abruptly, in an 84-phrase announcement about the approaching birthday celebration, Harry, oh surprise, did not say a word approximately his cherished wife. He talked about his kids, his challenge to make this sector a better place, but no longer a word approximately the lady he married 6 years in the past. That is absolutely uncharacteristic for him, as he had stated her before, inside and out of locations. From this it is straightforward to finish that the prince knows the whole thing. Perhaps no longer so deeply, however he cannot experience the distinction among a disco with synthetic snow on his 30th birthday and a lonely hike in the mountains in a foreign country on his 40th birthday. But, like a capricious child or a tough teenager, he will by no means display that he become wrong, that he knows and is prepared to admit his mistakes. He is a prince. Let them search for an approach to him. He'll preserve to stay in the USA and cuckoo, snapping back to Britain every danger he gets. Thanks for looking to the end. Now I want to pay attention your opinion. Do you hate Harry or do you observe he is a traitor? Write your mind inside the remarks, and recollect to enroll in the channel to preserve up to date with all of the trendy information and revelations.